Woohoo! Welcome to another live stream for Lightbox Expo. My friends, welcome. I'm Sergio, and we're going to be talking about portfolios today. Hopefully you're at the right place because we're going to do a portfolio review. I'm awesome and super excited with everything that's going on here because, man, I got to show you this because I can't wait. I got to share my screen and show you the amount of submissions that we got for this portfolio review. So I'll wait for people to trickle in. I welcome everybody who's been following us today. We have had a wonderful and exciting and thrilling day of incredible art. I've seen some really cool stuff being posted in Lightbox. And just this event is just wonderful. I think let's give a big round of applause. Let's go digital applause, yay, to all of the Lightbox people. Those guys have been working like crazy badasses in the background. And I, on my end too, I should give a shout out to my storyboard art crew. Thank you, my friends, for making this possible and helping us out with everything that's been going on. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of submissions that we've gotten from artists participating in our drawing and portfolio challenge and guys who have submitted artwork here for this portfolio review. So I'm going to get into this in a second, and I encourage you, and this is the kind of thing that we've been doing this whole weekend, I encourage everybody to participate and post. So this is something that you can participate in the chat either on YouTube or Facebook, and that way we can continue this conversation and you guys connect with each other. This is a big thing that we always do is networking. That's what you would normally do at an event like this in person. So I encourage everybody to do that and participate as well. Okay, a couple of announcements. Let's first of all, I want to point you guys to the storyboard art LBX 2020 landing page where you can see all of the events going on. In fact, let me share my screen right now and I'll show you what that's all about just so that you guys know where to go. So let me do this here. I'm going to share this screen here and boom, there it is. Okay, so this is the page you're probably watching right now. Hopefully, if not, you're probably watching direct on Facebook or YouTube. But I just want to let you guys know that these are where we're going to be posting our events. So it's just an easy way for you to see our landing page and where you guys are going to see stuff for this whole weekend up until Sunday. And then you scroll down and you get the schedule of events here. So right now we're at our portfolio review live stream. And if you look up, we got a special guest lineup for tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. PST. We got an awesome juggernaut roundtable of great story artists that are going to be with us tomorrow. So hang out for that. Stay tuned for that one. Definitely let's connect. I encourage you guys to click these buttons here and connect with each other and with us. And if you click on some of these things, you can see the past replays of what we've done today. And then I'll talk a little bit about this drawing and portfolio challenge again, because this directly relates to what we're going to be talking about here. And then I'll also point you to this link, which is the Story Artist Mentorship. That's also, the registration is open, and there's been a fantastic response to that too. And I'm really excited and inspired by the people that are going to be participating in the mentorship. Click that registration page. There's all kinds of information there. In fact, there's a lot of mentorship alumni who have been in our first round of the mentorship in 2018. They're around here and you can ask them questions about that too. But this drawing and portfolio challenge, let me click on this. I want to show you this, this website. So this is a free training that we're sponsoring, okay? And you can watch the trailer and everything that's involved. If you haven't signed up already, I highly encourage you to do so, because if you're here about portfolios, this course is what's going to show you what to do. And I'm going to give you a little preview of that right now and today. So let me scroll down here and show you what these are the lessons that you're going to do. And we warm up with a couple of story exercises. And then right now we're on lesson 3 that hit over this weekend. So there's still time. Registration for this course will still be open until Sunday. And then we're going to get into a gag boosting session. And lesson 5 is your portfolio prep. That's where we put everything together. And I'm going to give you a little preview of that lesson here in this talk today. So make sure you check that out. We want to grow the community, and this lesson here is free. So that is something that we just like to give back and make sure that people are enjoying that kind of stuff. So let me stop the screen share here, and I'll prepare my next series of slides. And hopefully you guys are enjoying what we've been doing and the content that we're putting out there. If there's anything that you want us to do, we'll make sure that you hit us up and tell us about it, and then we'll be able to prepare some things and maybe at least point you in the right direction. Like I said, I don't always have the answers, but maybe we can point you in the right direction. I've been around the block enough to be able to, to kind of know where to go. So I wanted to show you this too. Let me pull this up and I'll go ahead and share my screen. Oh, and by the way, just to give you an idea, we're going to go for about an hour here. And throughout this, I'm going to talk about the portfolios. We're going to get into that in a second, and I'll be scanning the chat feed in YouTube and Facebook here on my live stream, control room. And if you guys have a question, go ahead and do that, and then we'll do a Q&A section at the end. So I will leave some time. This is going to be jam-packed with artists and portfolios, and so I want to show you that right now. Look how many submissions that we got. And it's just really inspiring and awesome. Check this out. This is my Dropbox link that we sent out to people that you guys before this event could submit your work. So let me just scroll down for a second, and we're going to go in the order that it was received. Okay, so that's the way we're going to handle this. But I'm just scrolling. Check this out. This just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. So here, the reason I want to say that is that I want to give a preface is that we're going to go with the guys that submitted their work first, and we're going to get to as many as possible. Now, keep in mind that a lot of the comments that we're going to give specific to the artist will also apply to your portfolio and the things that you are doing. So just think of how what we say can apply to what you're doing in your portfolio. There are common things that you're going to see, and I'll get into that in a second. Okay, now let me go to some of the slides that I want to show you. And I'll put this up on screen as well. Now, this is from the lesson 5 of the Drawing Portfolio Challenge. Can you guys see that okay? All right, I think it's pretty good. Okay, so the portfolio basics, let's get into this. Now, in that lesson, you're gonna hear me talk about how to put this together. There's also a preview from the Story Artist Mentorship, the module that we talk about portfolios. I have a little excerpt in there for this. So this is really what you're gonna need to do as a pro artist to get your stuff out there. You're going to need to have a printed portfolio for interviews, right? That's when you actually go into a job and actually hand your portfolio to them and show like a nice presentation and show them what you've been working on. You need a PDF portfolio. This is like a digital copy of that printed version, and that's easy enough to do. And that digital copy is really what is going to be the main thing that you're going to email around. You're going to send people links so they can download that stuff. And then you're also going to have an animatic reel. That is it's somewhat optional if you don't have enough animatics, but I think nowadays that's a trend that's happening and continuing. So you do want to have an animatic there, and also you tie this up in with the website or social media. So that's also really, really important. We can talk a little bit about those things as well. Okay, let me go in and adjust some of these things for a second to make this a little more clear. There we go. And let's go to the next slide. I'll show you this. So this is a common question that we get. How many pages are you supposed to put into a portfolio? So this is just an average thing. It's a very general response here, but it can be 10 to 20 pages of storytelling related material, and quality over quantity. So I don't care if you get to the 20 pages. I don't care if you can barely make 10. If you have like 5 pages that show really awesome artwork, I'm going to be like, oh, I want to see more. That's really solid work. So if it's quality stuff, that's really important. And I want to see storytelling related materials. None of this, don't show me your character designs. I don't want to see the sculpture that you do. I don't want to see clips of your animation, because that's not storyboards. That's not storytelling. So I want to see images that you have created that are going to create your storytelling and show me sequential art. And we're going to get to all of those examples and get to people's submissions in a second. Okay, so what to put in your portfolio? Check this out. This is, again, just a general suggestion, and I go through this in detail in the Drawing a Portfolio Challenge. But the obvious things that you've put in there are storyboard related stuff. So you're going to want to put storytelling images. So we often recommend single panel storytelling images that are just one panel that tells a story, that you can construct a composition and show that to people. And that is enough so that you can see that. That's really important. A lot of the studios like to see that. And it shows that you have drawing skills, that you can compose things, you can stage things clearly, and that you can also tell a story in one image. Okay, all of that stuff is super, super important. Okay, The next thing that you want to put in there are gags. And we talk about that in lesson 4 about doing a gag session. Gags are just a way to you're always going to have to do some kind of comedy thing. And I think it's fun. It's also a difficult exercise to make something comedic, or at least I find it so. And if you're naturally inclined to doing gags, well, that's great, because that's often what we end up doing in animation storyboards or any kind of thing, even live action. You still always want to have a gag in there, visual gags, and you can be overt and really comedic about it, or you can be more subtle, where it's more like a compositional gag or a situational gag. All of that stuff works really well. The next thing you want to put in there are storyboard sequences, and this one there's a variation there, but it can be a dramatic sequence, a comedic sequence, an action scene, and a variation of all of that combined. You also want to do different drawing styles. So you can have something realistic, or you can do something a little more cartoony. Now, I would also recommend that you play to your strengths, and you also design your storyboard portfolio so it's designed for the company that you're applying for. Excuse me. So if you're applying to Nickelodeon, for example, most of the time they're going to do like cartoony stuff. You just want to show them those kinds of samples, and then you're probably going to leave out the more realistic and highly rendered stuff, because that's not a show that they're going to probably work on. And the opposite would go for if you're working, want to work on some kind of live action production, then you would show them a little more detailed work and maybe some concept boards and things like that you want to put in there. Okay. Some extra stuff that you can put in thumbnail pages. Now, if you're going to do thumbnail pages, make sure that they're clean, they're clear, and they show your thinking process. So don't just put some scribbly stuff in there, because that's not gonna cut it. Okay. And then my last suggestion here, again, everybody's portfolio is going to be different, but these are just general suggestions that you can put in there. So after the bulk of it, which is going to be a lot of your storyboards, you're going to do 3 to 5 pages of relevant supplemental material. So that includes illustrations, comic work, layouts, character designs, things like that. Now, if you do any of those things, I highly recommend that each one of those pieces that you put in there have some kind of storytelling to them, that they're storytelling related. Okay, that's very important. So character design, don't just put a bunch of turnarounds that are real stiff in there. You want to put characters in a pose that tells a story. So if you're doing a character design of a pirate, make sure he's in a pose. He's got a sword. He's got a hook on his hand. He's battling somebody. You put them in a situation that fulfills the need of a design, but it's also show that you can draw really well and create a story and emotion with that character. That's what you want to be doing there. Okay, cool. So I think that's all for the slides. Let me, and we'll get into animatics in a second, because I think now we can start looking at the submissions. So the first one here is a link. And I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. So, I'm sorry if I don't get to everyone. Unfortunately, we're just probably not going to have enough time, because we're only going through an hour. So this one is from, I'm sorry, I'm going to mispronounce your name, but I think it's Kai. And so storyboard portfolio. This is actually a really nice, nicely set up portfolio website. So congratulations here on that. Really cool stuff here. Yeah, we'll just scroll through this and take a look. Now, I must admit, a lot of these I have not seen completely, because, again, I've just been overwhelmed by submissions. But we can go this together. And I will also remind you guys that this is similar to what people look at for the first time. So I'll click on the storyboards thing. Yep, that we're in the same place. Now, a couple of comments here that I could give for this one is I give you kudos for the nice, clear layout here. That's really nice. If you're doing a storyboard portfolio, make sure the first thing that I see are nice, clear storyboards. Right now, you're showing me character designs and you're showing me little thumbnail sketches. That tells me very little about your storytelling ability. It just shows me that you can draw a thumbnail. This is what I want to see. I want to see these storyboards. I want to see them nice and big. This slideshow is cool. If you can make this like bigger, can you make this like somewhat like in the center where it's larger? I think I can actually zoom in on this. No, this is like a copy link. Can I? No. So, all right. So yeah, I would make this a lot bigger, fill this, the majority of your website space here, at least, I don't know, 720 pixels, so that it's nice and large and we can see the drawings, because your drawings are really good. Like, I think you guys can all agree that this artist Kai here is awesome. He's got a really strong drawing foundation. This sequence is looking pretty good, but the presentation is what I'm talking about here. I think can be enhanced. Yeah, you owe it to yourself to have a much better presentation, because your drawings are really good. Here's the one comment you're going to hear me talk a lot about. My friends, there are way too many story panels on this one page. It's way too small, and I can't zoom in anymore on this. So that's one thing that let's see, how many are there? There's 4x4. There's about 16 panels on this page. Well, 15 because we're missing one on this page. They're just too many. So there should be half. There should be probably not even that, less than half. I would say 6 panels on one page. That's the maximum that you want to put on this portfolio page, because I can't appreciate the drawings. It's just too small. Don't make me work. I can't read this text. It's just a little bit too small. Oh, by the way, nobody reads that stuff anyway. Okay, so you can put dialogue notes and camera notes and stuff on the bottom of these pages, these panels, but nobody reads that. I certainly don't, and I don't know anybody in the story departments that do either. So it's really just not necessary. If your story panel does not do a good job of telling the story, no amount of word or script dialogue notes in there are really going to fix it. So it should be absolutely cleared from the image that that the story panel works. So yeah, I could do without this intro, although you have some nice drawings, my friend. This is really cool. Beautiful sketches. I love this. I love the sketches. Really nice. It shows that you can draw well. But I think you owe it to yourself to have a little tighter presentation here. Okay. Now I can get into the details of staging and maybe some storytelling stuff, but first off, let's fix the presentation stuff. And I think you'd be like almost 80, 90% there for this. All right. This stuff, I don't know what it's all about. I mean, it seems like you're repeating the same motif as far as the presentation, but I think you'd want to improve on that. So are you guys seeing, patterns in your own portfolio for this? And this is just the first submission here. One thing I would caution you guys, if you're applying for a storyboard position, my suggestion here is that you don't show me any of this stuff. This is not valid necessarily. Like, this doesn't help for a storyboard portfolio to show me your environment designs. It might show me you can draw, but it doesn't tell me story. Okay. And character design, same thing. So if you do that, that's great. I would actually create a separate website or a separate portfolio for that stuff. Okay. And then films, okay, you might have some work that you've done here. Again, unless it's story related, I don't think we want to see that. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, big round of applause for Kai. Yay, he's brave and awesome for showing us the first one here. All right, let's move on. Let's see if we can go fast with this. We're probably going to see some repeated motifs here. Ooh, this is cool. We got an animatic. How about we play it? I'm not sure if we're going to get any sound with this. In fact, let me put in my headphones. Do we hear any audio? No, so there's no audio on this animatic. So we can just watch and appreciate. Nice, some nice drawings here. Very cool. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna see if I can speed it up. Nope, I can't, okay. Because that's what happens sometimes when we're looking at these portfolios, especially when we're talking about animatic reels. People will fast forward this stuff. They'll blow through the sequences to see if they can find something really cool. These drawings are really nice. Yeah, I think these are also great. This is from Pow. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. A couple things. I'm going to pause it there because I really want to speed through and go through this stuff. Same comment about presentation here is you really want to make sure that your drawings are nice and large. The other thing that, just my personal taste here, I would get rid of all this like Toon Boom, the template stuff. Just export the storyboard panel. Get rid of the scene duration panel and all that stuff that Toon Boom exports. I'm not a big fan, especially the title safe and all of the other like the framing guides that they put on there. Get rid of that. I just want to see the actual the storyboard panel. Now some of these are coming up black. I don't know why. That might just take a while to load. So make sure that if you're showing this to a client that this doesn't happen. Because you really want to make sure that they're not having to work to look at your portfolio. All right, let's take a look at your. Oh, by the way, let me see this. What's the length on this one? It's about three and a half, almost 4 minutes. So that's a long time to go through an animatic reel. It might be really awesome, and you're putting in a sequence there, but I would recommend that that you probably want to cut this down into an animatic reel that the total length is less than 2 minutes. Okay. Nice. Some cool shots here, some cool drawings. Let me speed this up. I'm telling you, this is actually, I'm not doing this, please please forgive me. I mean, no disrespect to Pal or any of you guys who have submitted stuff, but this is really what happens in a story department when we're looking at stuff. I can see things really clearly that, you know, things that I'm looking at. I'm looking for strong perspective. I'm looking at good drawing. I'm looking at quality staging. Is that there? You know, if that's something that interests me, then I'll go back and look and see if that sequence works. Okay. Nice. There's some really good drawings here. I think these are all really cool. One presentation note here is that, can you see how different the different slideshows that you've set up? Like this one is different from this guy. It looks like some kind of one from LinkedIn. So I would make it all consistent on your website. It's usually easy enough to do that. And let's check out your portfolio page. Let's see what that has. Yeah, again, you know, I don't discourage you from putting character designs and things like that. But if it's a storyboard specific website and a portfolio that you're doing, you want to make sure that you show me a lot of boards. I'm not going to hire you as a character designer. I'm going to hire you as a storyboard artist. Okay. All right. Thanks, pal. All right. Big round of applause for him. Thanks, buddy. Good job there. Okay. Let's go to Christina. We got another link, I believe. Oh, okay. This one's a PDF. Let me expand this out, make this larger. And we're going to scroll down this portfolio. Aha. What do you think I'm going to say about this, my friends? The images are too small. The images are way, way, way too small. I think, like, again, I say this often, and this is really, you know, clutch advice here. It's really key that you hone in on this. Don't put more than 6 panels on a page, really. And 9 is really pushing it, because the images are still going to be too small. 16:9 aspect ratio, only put 6 on a page. In fact, I would put less sometimes, 4 on a page, maybe just 2 on a page, because they're just too small enough to, you know, not big enough to see the details. Okay. Now, another thing that I see here, I'm going through this really fast. I hope you can see this. Check out these, this row, this page, this whole page. In fact, this is a common thing that happens in portfolios and animatics. I'm assuming that you've created the sequence as an animatic, probably in something like Toon Boom or any kind of sequential art program that lets you duplicate, you know, the characters and the frame for, you know, kind of your small motions and your acting poses. But what happens when you put this in a portfolio like this, in a PDF, you end up having these really tiny movements that it's really hard for me. Check out these first 4 panels. It's really hard for me to understand what the change is, what the story point in each one of these panels. I encourage you guys to make a selective decision of which panels that you're going to actually put in your printed portfolio. Now, this might work great for an animatic. You're going to export all of those images and you're going to cut together a video. But in your printed portfolio, where I'm looking at images, think of like a comic book. You just want to have the key images there that are going to move the story forward. This is way too much. In fact, I don't even know what's going on. I'd probably pick this first image and this last image. It looks like he's just changed the pose here. Then you cut to this guy crying, and maybe this second pose where, look, I don't know if he's like pulling his face off or something. And that's it. You know, so this whole page can be reduced down to 2 panels. Okay. That's really what you want on there. So there's just too many panels on this page. Too many panels on the page, and not a selective enough editing of which panels are the key storytelling poses. All right. That's what you want to do. I would get rid of this page. Again, it's not storytelling enough. It just, you know, it's just showing off some kind of character designs. And it's not framed as a storyboard. You got to put these things in a frame. Every single, now this is kind of a cool story beat. If you can see my mouse here on the bottom left, that's kind of cool. But I think what you want to do is make sure that that you are putting these things in a frame and you're composing a shot, always referencing the camera. All right, Ringling, cool. Yeah, some beautiful sketches here. I like this stuff. I'll talk a little bit about, you know, as we see this, I'll talk a little bit more about sketches and figure drawings. But I'm not a big fan of putting a ton of figure drawings and life sketches in there if they're not storytelling poses, okay? Yay, Christina, round of applause for her. Let's go to Shella. All right, we got another PDF. Thank you guys for submitting all this. Hopefully, is this helpful? Is this making sense? You know, hopefully you're gonna see some repeated themes here. Let me zoom out a little bit. You got 200 panels on this one. Okay, cool. This is kind of fun. I can flip through this and see what's going on here. Now, I don't mind that so you're doing a good job, for one, of showing large images that I can see very well. Let me zoom out just a little bit if I can. Hold on, give me a second as I zoom out. There we go. And you're doing a good job of putting these nice and large so I can appreciate your compositions. I'm going to point this out here too. Look how tight you're framing this jet plane. Okay, that you're really you're tangent to the side of the picture plane, and you're almost tangent on this like fin of the back, the back wing here of this jet. So it's just way too tight for this object. Imagine if you're actually shooting that with a real camera, that thing is flying through the air. So how are you going to capture that one frame? Pull your camera out just a little bit wider, give a little more space, more breathing room on either side of that. And imagine the camera's going to have to pan with that jet fighter coming through. And so you're going to need wider space in order to capture it. Otherwise, it's going to zip past the camera. You're not going to be able to see anything. But so I'm seeing compositional details here that are warning signs for me that you haven't done enough work to create really solid compositions with your panels. So those are some things that I'm looking at. There is a little bit of inconsistency with the formatting. So you have nice big images, which I like here, but then this one all of a sudden becomes small again. So now I have to zoom in. You're making me do some work. So I think you're going to want to make sure that everything is consistent. Also, these panels here are a little bit too rough for your portfolio. This, I think, is just like a first rough pass. I actually wouldn't show that. I think you can go in, clean this up, and then you can present that again in your portfolio, and that would really make it clear. So that you have a nice, crisp, clean line here. Let's see that same consistency in all of your sequences. This is a really large portfolio, so I'm going to go and scroll through this pretty quickly. Yeah, you got some nice images there. I think overall, can you see? I can see this. I'll tell you what I see is you're composing your shots way too tight. That is a common theme with young story artists, that your camera framing is just way too tight on the subject. Pull the camera out wider, give the characters and the objects breathing room within the frame, and that way they have space to move around within the frame, and you'll be all right with that. Okay, awesome. I think that's a pretty good sample. I want to move on because we have a lot of submissions here. Let's thank Shella Ryan for her awesome submission. Yay! All right, you guys are great. Okay, this one is an Animatic. Let me bring this up large. Okay. This is about 2.5 minutes. I'm not sure if we're going to watch the whole thing, but let's take a look at this. While I do that, I'm going to have a little sip of my drink. Let me know if you guys can hear the sound too. I can hear a little bit of the audio. In fact, audio is good. You definitely want to show that in your Animatic, but I'm more impressed with the images. That's what I'm going to be hiring you for. So, okay, let me pause that just 1 second. You see this? I got to point this out. Hold on. You see that? Oh, wait a minute. Boom. Oh, wait. Let me go back. And I'll pause it right on the frame. See, look, you're cutting off the feet. Okay, you see that? You're way too close to the bottom of the frame. There's a tangent there. Look how much room you have for him to step in. So that's also a warning sign of composition that, we're going to have to correct that and make sure that you're putting these characters and framing them correctly. So let's keep going. Some dialogue here. Cool. Let me speed this up because I really want to see your drawings. I really want to see what you're doing. These are some cool drawings. A close-up like this. Let me pause that again on this frame. A close-up like this, that's a little bit too rough. I think, especially if you're going to show this in a portfolio, you want to go back and clean this up so that the line work is nice and tight. Like, look, you're just scribbling in the hair. And you can have a nice hair shape, and that, just clean that up. And I think, as a portfolio piece, I know this might be a job, and that might have been the only time you had for this. But if you're showing this in a portfolio, you can go back and do this afterwards and clean up these drawings and really make it presentable for a studio to take a look at. So that's also a general comment for a lot of you guys there. Make sure that what you're showing is going to be your best presentation and your best foot forward. Now, awesome. I will say these are some really good shot choices, Abigail. You know, other than maybe some compositional things that I pointed out at the beginning, I really like your filmmaking. I really like your shot choices, and I think this is a really cool character piece and a really nice filmmaking animatic that you have here. You know, a sample of your storytelling style. Cool. Yeah, your shots are working. I love this. This is great. This is actually very nice. Very nice. I think my only suggestion here would be to clean up your drawings a bit. You can make these things tighter. You're a little bit too loose for what I think you're capable of doing, because I can see your strong drawings here. So it would just take a couple more hours, maybe in half a day or so, you can actually clean this up, this one sequence, and make it tight. This couldn't be more than a couple hundred panels, and you could knock that out in a couple of hours, especially if you've done the work here. Just go ahead and clean it up. See, you're also composing a little bit too tight on the frame there. All right, awesome. Excellent work there, Abigail. I love it. Woohoo! Let's give her a round of applause. Yay. Excellent, excellent. All right, Beth Marie. Now, we're about halfway done with this, so I hope you guys are doing well. I want to keep going, and then we'll save the questions to the end. So give me another 15 minutes. We're going to go through this, and hopefully I'm giving you enough pointers that you can use this in your own work. All right, let's move forward. We got Beth Marie. Wonderful. I love seeing this. I love that you have a title screen for your animatic reel. Clearly, you want to show me your contact information, your website, and Instagram. That's awesome. Excellent job there. Nice. I think overall, let me speed this up. You got some animation in here. This looks like a different sequence. Okay. Not bad, not bad. Looking good, looking good. All right, let me move forward a little bit in the interest of time. See, this kind of stuff, I think you're just animating a little bit too much. I think this is a little unnecessary. Like the whole, I know this is probably a cycle when you got the clothing and stuff in there. But story-wise, there's unnecessary to have so many poses, because it doesn't tell me that much more about the storytelling. Awesome. Yay. Thank you, Beth, for showing us that. So a couple quick comments on Beth's stuff. Hopefully you guys can see some of the same things represented in your own work. I'm not getting a good idea of your cinematic storytelling when it comes to this reel. So let me click this again. What I want to see is your shot choice, the camera variety, like the way that you're staging these characters. And it all looks like very safe shots. They're very conservative. And I want to see more of your storytelling choices. And that to me will really show off in your portfolio what you need to do there. So so like right here, we have a couple of characters. The backgrounds are just a flat gray. I'm not getting a lot of depth. They're just straight up in the center. So those things are not showing me your cinematic ability. And that's what I'm missing here. I would avoid putting in animation stuff. And some of this stuff here is okay, but what I'm missing here is the story part. I need storytelling. It looks like there's a bunch of robots operating on each other, but I need this in context. Like, what's going on? Is he about to die and these robots are saving his life? Is that what's happening? Those are the kinds of things that we want to put this in context and show me that you can handle emotion, you can handle staging, about camera work and all those things. So that would be my advice here for Beth. All right. So yay, round of applause for Beth. She's awesome. Okay, let's go on to Beck. And we got a website link. Let me copy and paste this. And let's go for it. Cool. So we got Beckhauser storyboards. Let's click on this first link from Animatic. Ninja Turtle action. Okay, cool. All right, all right. Not bad, not bad. I like it. You got some storytelling, you got some camera angles. Okay. All right. Cutting pretty well. Action sequence. Turtle comes in. All right. Attack, fight going on. I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. It looks like we're holding too long in this one frame, on this one shot. That's an awful lot of dialogue for one shot. All right, nice. Cut in. Let me see him closer. Wait. It's a little too wide for so much dancing. It would be cool if this were a much closer shot. Look how this whole frame is empty, completely empty. Like all of this is just white space. Just crop in. Just, like follow my mouse here. Just crop in on this guy. You could do a full body shot and get rid of all that background. So those are some things that pop out to me for this sequence here. Nice. I like the reflection shot. There we go. See, this is cool. I love this. See, Beck, you're doing a really good job here. I'm seeing here your storytelling, your camera work, your ideas. I love the split screen that you're doing. Maybe you are influenced from the current Turtle show that's out there. But this is cool. I think one thing that I would just give you some constructive criticism on is that your drawings are a little bit too simplified for me for some of these action moments. And again, this I would repeat this for the rest of the group. You want to make sure that you are showing off your solid poses and your solid construction lines. So let me get to some of the spots where I thought it was a little bit limited. Probably about here where some of these poses, they're a little too simplified for me. I want to see a little more structure and solidity in the character poses. But what I think is awesome? I think your filmmaking, your shot choices, your decisions as a storyteller are working really well. So one thing I would recommend for you, Beck, is keep on working on your drawing skills. And when your drawing skills catch up to your ideas, you're going to be a powerhouse. You really are. It's going to be awesome. Like your name, Powerhouser. That's what it's going to be. Okay. Let me take a look and scroll through these. Can I do it with my keyboard? No. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, nice. I mean, I like this stuff. I think this is pretty good. You understand your shot choice. You got good screen direction, right? We should all know about that stuff. Screen direction, making sure everything looks good. Now I'm going through this really fast, right? You can obviously tell, but this is how clients and potential story supervisors will do it, because they want to get to the meat. They want to see what you can do. And this is pretty good. Nice stuff. I like this. I like this a lot. Excellent. Again, I think what's holding you back here is your drawing, is the loosening up of your drawing and practicing more. That you just got to practice on that. Let's do one more from your animatic and we'll move on, because we got to go to the rest of the submissions. Another Turtles example. Now I wonder, why are you showing us Ninja Turtle examples? So this looks like a test. Okay, you put that in here. Excellent. Thank you for describing that. And I think that's totally fine, because what I was going to ask is if you actually worked on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'll go to your resume in a second. Cool. All right, let me pause it there and let me go to your resume. By the way, thank you guys for being brave and even submitting your work like this. I know in a group, this is out in the public and you can feel vulnerable. My friends, I commend you on doing this. It is really hard to do this stuff. So congratulations to each and every one of you for being bold like this and presenting us your work. I wanted to see if they actually worked on the Ninja Turtle stuff. So that's the first question I would ask, because I'm seeing Ninja Turtle examples. Your resume looks pretty good though. Excellent. And if we have resume questions, we can talk about that, because I cover that in our courses and our mentorship. But nice work. All right, Beck, I'm going to have to move on for the interest of time. So thanks for that. Whew, let's keep on going. I'm doing this in the order in which they were received. So thank you guys for being patient. We're probably not going to get to all of them, but I'm going to do my best to at least give you guys some notes and some things that you can use in your own portfolio. And if you still have questions, we'll come to us afterwards and we'll hit them up there. All right, let's keep on with this. Great, let's move down. Let's check out some of these images. Yeah, let me zoom in on this image here for a second. Let me make this full screen and we'll zoom in. So this as a storyboard panel, this looks like color keys, almost like you're doing color boards. And that's great, but it is actually pretty rare that you're going to use a lot of color in your storyboard panels. So, and what I'm missing here, it looks like nice paintings. You have some good mood here, but what I'm missing is the solid drawing, the solid perspective, and the solid storytelling that I would normally want to see in a portfolio. So I like this example that you have here in black and white as a storyboard portfolio, and not so much this one. I would actually think of leaving this out of your portfolio. Okay. Cool. Same comment I'm going to give to everybody else. You have too many pages, too many panels on one page. Make your panels larger so we can see all the drawings. But nice. There's some good drawing here. Some cool things. What is this white frame here? What are these white frames? Is this like lightning strike? Is that what that is? I would actually draw in the ray of, the actual blast of lightning that comes down, and you see the crack and the form and the shot of lightning, rather than this stuff. It's way too abstract and ambiguous for a printed PDF portfolio. It looks like you're just having blank pages here, and it doesn't actually help. So make sure that is all really nice and clear. Same kind of comment that I mentioned earlier. You have 3 poses, 3 panels of this character, and it looks like we're just moving in closer. How about you start here, get rid of the middle one, and then go to the tight one. Maybe in your animatic, you did want to have like a middle pose. If this is a camera move, I would just cut to the end pose, and that's it. Be careful with your framing here. You can see your tangent, your head is tangent with the top of the frame. So those are things that I see right away that could be warning signs for your composition. You're doing it again here. Boom, boom. She's hitting the top of the frame. Ouch, that hurts. That hurts. Give her some room. Even here, it's a little bit too close. A little bit too close. Here, your borderline is pretty good, but just center her a little bit more in the frame. You'd be fine. Okay. Watch your silhouette. This looks like a pose. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. Is that an arm? Where's the other arm? Is he coming out of the water? So it looks, you haven't constructed the silhouette in a proper way. Those are things also I look at a lot in storyboard portfolios. Here's some more character designs. Again, I'm not a fan of putting character design in a storyboard portfolio. Save that for your character design portfolio if that's something that you do. Okay. Ooh, these are nice. I like this. This should go to the front. I like this page. This is great. I love the hands here. You're probably repeating these 2 frames a little bit too much. I don't know what the difference is between these 2 frames. But your drawings are really solid. Excellent. I like this a lot. This should be the first page that we see in our portfolio. Get that to the front. Get this whole sequence to the front. Really nice. Yeah, I love it. Excellent. Excellent. All right. See, you're showing me some good stuff. Put that up the front, okay? And so very, very cool. And comics. Again, if you're going to show this kind of stuff, make it larger and make sure it shows off your storytelling. And you could show your illustration skills and your drawing skills, but I want to see your storytelling. That's what's going to get you the job, is your storytelling, okay? Life drawing, it's all right. Let me talk a little bit about my beef about life drawing. Let's give, while we do that, and Nelson, I believe is your name, and Nelson Correa, thank you for submitting your work. Big round of applause to you and being brave. So let me give you my gripe about the figure drawings and life drawings. And you'll see this in lesson 5 of the Drawing Portfolio Challenge. I recommend, again, you guys sign up for that. It's free. I'm giving you this information for free because I think you need to hear it. You need to hear it from the horse's mouth. I've been on both sides of the recruiting process. I've hired artists and I've had to submit a ton of portfolios to get jobs, and I've gotten the jobs. So that means I'm doing something right. At least maybe the presentation is there or people trust me. And after a while, they see that I can do these storytelling things, okay? I've been around the block for a while. But let me give you the rant about portfolio life drawing images. Life drawing images and sketches from life should also be storytelling poses. So don't just draw me a figure drawing, a naked figure there. That, everybody can do those anatomy studies. That's great. But I want to see, can you put this in a story? So if you go to a coffee shop or do some kind of location or life drawing sketches, make a story out of it. If a guy's at a coffee shop and having a drink, well, show them, reading a book, or they're on the computer, make a story out of it. Even if you have to construct the story, even if it's not what what you see in front of you is not what you're going to put down on the page, but you can take the pose from one guy in the background, and you can take the book from another guy that's sitting there, and you piece that together in a drawing, and that's creating a storyboard from life, from a representation from life. And then you can draw that really well, okay? And you can put that in your book as a sample of not only your good drawing skills, but also that you know how to compose an illustration and make an awesome storytelling image there. All right, speaking of drink, pardon me as I have a sip. And I promise I'll get to I see all of the discussion going on in the chat. And I promise you guys I'm gonna get to that in a second. We're almost there where we're gonna talk. So I'm gonna do 2 more, and then we're gonna go to the questions. Wow, excellent. Lovely drawings here. Wonderful drawings. I like this. Nice presentation. I like that they're nice and big. Thank you for that. Nice, solid, clean drawings. Excellent. I love it. Now you're doing something really interesting here. You're doing flat staging. So there's deep space and there's flat space, right? Those are 2 common things that we do in storyboarding and cinematography and staging. So right now, what I consider flat staging is there's not much depth. It's not going back into the stage. So you're doing something like Wes Anderson style, right? Filmmaking, right? Like the Great Tenenbaums or one of his movies, instead of something that's really deep, like an Orson Welles film or Spielberg film, okay? But both are good. So I like this. This is really cool. This is good for comedy. This is good for character staging. Ah, yeah. What's happening here? Why did the camera tilt? You see this? What's going on? Going on there. So I'm not exactly sure. That might be a little bit of a mistake. I want to make sure that ooh, is this in shadow? What's going on here? Wow, cool. I'm going back and forth. So it looks like, I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. It looks really cool. Your drawings are excellent. And she's doing some really cool stuff like Thor action, whatever it is here. Boom. Wow, nice, nicely composed. This is great. All right, that's the grandmother. Woo! I love it. This is from Emma Gillis. All right, very good. Round of applause for Emma for showing that awesome sequence. Okay, couple of things now. Now I can start digging in because I like your drawing. I like your presentation. I like the way you're showing me all these things. You're doing a really good job here. Okay, couple of things that I would like to see since you're getting so cinematic with this. You have some really good foundation here. So you started off with flat space on your images. Let me scroll all the way up and I'll show you what I mean. You started out with some flat space and flat staging, but then you have some really heavy action coming in there. Okay. So what I would do there is this is one thing like filmmaking style, the choices that you're going to do for your filmmaking and storytelling is when she becomes Thor and becomes a superhero. That's when you go deep space. You make that thing really wide. You have nice, really cool dynamic angles where we're seeing a lot of the, oops, sorry. You go back, I'm gonna miss it. Here it is. Where we're seeing a lot of the, the space that the world that you're creating there. Okay, so I'm gonna flip through this again really quickly. Yeah, okay, it looks like she's summoning her grandma Thor hammer, whatever's going on there. I didn't understand the shadow part. Okay, so that to me is not very clear. But here's something that I see in your work, Emma. I see the potential for you because you're already showing me good drawing. You're showing me good staging. So this is, you're an artist I think I can work with and actually, work with the storytelling to create a little more clarity. And then that way, we have a really fun sequence because your ideas are really good and your staging is good. So I think, going deep space, and then when you come back to the end here, we're back into the flat space and it's back. So that's a stylistic choice there. So hopefully you guys are understanding what I'm talking about with all this stuff. My friends, I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to do one more and then we're gonna go to questions because I know this is gonna blow up with a bunch of questions. Okay, Amelia. Let me make this a little bit larger. Okay, Amelia Cobb, storyboard artist. Excellent. Beautiful, beautiful front page here. I love that you have your contact information. Excellent. Okay, let's get to the storyboard panels. Okay, not bad. 9 on a page. Thank you. Thank you for making that bigger. In fact, let me see if I can actually make this larger. So we can all see this really a lot better, hopefully. Yep, okay, good. Now, okay, 9 on a page, I'll take it. But can you give me 6 on a page? Can you make these a little bit bigger? Maybe 4 on a page? And that way I can really appreciate your drawings, okay? So, but I'll give you that one. Nice job there. And then here you're going to have a sequence of images, right? Oh, okay. Here's what I'm talking about with this Toon Boom stuff. Get rid of all of this. I like the fact that your name is on there. You can keep your name, and you can keep your title. Get rid of this template stuff. Export just the storyboard panel. I'm just not a fan of seeing any of this. It's just distracting to me. Okay, it's not so bad, but it's blank anyway. You didn't fill it out, so might as well just get rid of it. I want to study your image. Okay, all right. And then this is the stuff that I really get on people's cases with a portfolio. I'm not a fan of seeing the camera guides in a camera move. In fact, this move is so small. The movement here is just like a slight pan, a slight shift over. It's almost like non-existent. Might as well just keep it out and keep it static on the character. And the camera guides really distract from the image. Keep the image the same size and just export your keyframe camera poses for your portfolio. And that way you can keep consistent with the framing. You don't have to go crazy with all of these like different panels that are, composed in weird pan moves and stuff. Yeah, like this. It's really hard to see and flip through and understand the flow. But if you show me, let me pull up my Wacom pen. You see this. If I cut out this frame, then cut out the next like middle frame, keyframe position, and then you get to the end position, and you show me those 3 frames with the same exact size frame on each one of them, and you show me those in sequence, and that's going to give the idea of the camera move. Okay, that's the way you would show that stuff. Drawings are good. Nice drawing, nice line work. I love it. Yeah, and can you see that I'm not even reading your dialogue? I go by this so fast. So I'm looking at staging. You can make dialogue work. I want to see funny drawings. I want to see cool, cool camera ideas. And yeah, here, one thing to just keep in mind for a portfolio, I know you're probably doing this on a couple layers and it might be fast, but fill in this layer so that it doesn't look like these characters are invisible, because sometimes it becomes hard to see the character layer. Like you're doing a better job here where you put in tones. Okay. Nice. Right. Nice. Nice poses. Excellent. Oh, that's cool. That's a cool shot. Look at this. All right. How funny. And then good contrast here. You go from this close up to a wide shot. Boom. I like that. Very good. Very good. Okay. Cool. You got some good stuff. I think, if your presentation could use some improvement with creating the same size panels on each one of your frames. Get rid of that Toon Boom template guide, and then show me the camera moves in keyframe position that are the same size panels throughout every single panel you're going to put in your portfolio. And thanks for looking. Yay, you're welcome, Amelia. Nice job. Thanks for submitting the work. My friends, I'm going to stop the screen share, and I'm going to go to our discussion and our questions. I'm sure it's blown up with questions. Thank you for holding out with me and sticking around for so long. Let me go through this and see what we can talk about with the portfolio stuff. All right. So I'm just scrolling through the feed here. Thank you guys for being patient. I love this. Thank you. Thank you, Sai. I'm going to bring this one up as the first question. So if you mean animating, then not necessarily. But if you mean working in the animation industry, then yes, if you want to work. Well, I think what you're probably doing there is responding to somebody's question. I thought when I read this really quickly, I thought you were talking about animation versus, in your story portfolio. So animatics are getting more popular, right? And what happens is you end up doing more and more poses. And this is a common thing for your portfolios. You end up having many hundreds of panels for a storyboard sequence. What you want to do is edit that down and create, kind of your keyframe poses to present to somebody. In your animatic, you can do more of that there. Okay. This is a great one too. This comes up a lot. So Secret Greenfield, how do you feel about boarding for series or characters that already exist? Now, forgive me if you guys have already answered the question here in the chat, but let me give you my take on this. I actually like to shy away from boarding existing characters from existing movies. Now, if you're asked to do a test for like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that's okay. But I get, I see a lot of submissions where people are doing Batman exercises, or doing Toy Story exercises, or, I've seen a ton of like Star Wars and Clone Wars exercises. I actually don't like to see that in a storyboard portfolio. In general, the studios do not like to see that, because they want to see your original take on characters that you have created. And in fact, for me, it's much better to see your storytelling attempt at either your own characters, or maybe, you might take a classic story, like a fairy tale, and then do your own version of that. But to copy Batman, or to do like a superhero sequence that is just trying to, apply for Marvel, that doesn't make much sense to me, because you're not being original with the story ideas. Somebody else has created that world. So I kind of like to see what you can do on your own and actually create something unique there as well. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Awesome, Kurt, you're taking notes. Yeah, thank you, buddy. Is this helpful? I hope some. Have you heard this before? I hope other people have been honest like this. My friends, I would not BS you, because a job is at stake here. When you turn in a portfolio, I'm telling you, the guys out there are ruthless. You're not going to hear any feedback. Okay, you turn in portfolio, and all of a sudden you hear crickets, and that's really terrible, because you think, nobody likes me. The company just rejected me outright. Sometimes you get like a formal letter that says, well, thank you for your submission. If we like your work, we'll call you. Don't call us. That kind of stuff. More or less, that's how it works. So I just, I want to be honest with how you can get, some feedback, because I've been there. I know how difficult it is. And I know that maybe sometimes when you're doing your portfolio, it's hard to see the changes that you need to make when you're doing these things. Okay. Let me go to some of the recent comments here. What's this all about? Let me see. I had a course in college that was supposed to teach this. This session put that class to shame. Yes. All right. I love it. Thank you, Purple. Purple Sinner. My friends, I'm not anything special. I'm just telling you the truth. Okay. It's not like I have any magic powers. The thing is, I've been in the studios. I've seen what happens behind closed doors. I know what they say when they look at a portfolio. I know how fast they're flipping through portfolios, right? I've had to hire people myself. And when I don't see good storytelling, when I don't see good staging, when the drawings are not clear, I'm sorry, that portfolio is, we push that to the side. I say this often. It's very rare to find, storytellers are high in demand, because it's rare to find people who are well-trained and that are available to work. Anybody who's good is probably working already. You guys are the next generation. I want to bring you up to do this. That's what we do in the mentorship. That's what we're doing in the Drawing Portfolio Challenge, to get your portfolio ready for prime time. Okay, that's what it is. Thank you for that compliment, by the way. Cool. This one's great. Let me bring this up from Kevin. How do you talk to the director to get on the same page as him if you're confused on what he wants? So let me throw that back at you, Kevin. What do you think you should do if you're confused about any kind of instructions in a storytelling environment? I think you're probably, the obvious response would be, maybe ask them the question, maybe show them a couple examples, and, see if they like what they're talking about. So really the answer to that question, and maybe again, forgive me if this has already been answered in the chat room. The real answer there is you want to communicate as much as possible from the director and with the director and everybody who's a key decision maker on the project. So that's usually the writer, director, sometimes it's the showrunner and the producer. Okay. And what you want to do, ask them a ton of questions. Now I have a list of questions that I usually always ask. Most of the time they tell me, the questions are answered for me before I even begin. But one is, what aspect ratio are we doing? What kind of level of finish are we going to do? What kind of style of the show? What kind of style of filmmaking are we doing here? Are we doing Stanley Kubrick, or are we doing, SpongeBob, with cartoony and just like, sitcom kind of things? You have to know that up front. Now, when it comes to dialogue notes, you say, well, do you want it snappy, or do you want long shots? Do you want longer takes? Ask all of these questions as much as possible. And I would say, don't be afraid to ask a dumb question. Really don't. Because after a while, you're going to find out that it's not a dumb question. It's actually a very necessary question to get to the answer. And, you could be humble. You say, you could phrase it like, I'm sorry if you think this is a dumb question, but I really have this this doubt in my mind. Can you answer what these characters are feeling at this moment? Something like that. And that way it would make you feel like you're not attacking them or being on the defensive, and you get your question answered, and it's going to make you look good like a professional because you're taking notes, hopefully, and doing these things. So hopefully that there's some tips there as well. Okay. Let me show this one from Ansel Latron. Can working on a comic or other storytelling medium help in developing storyboarding skills? Absolutely. Where's my friend Wahab? How come he's not on here? He's one of the mentors in storyboard art. He works in comics a lot. He's written comics, he's drawn comics, and he's an excellent storyteller and also a good story artist. And so I think he could tell you too how much overlap there is from because it's all sequential art. So if you know how to do storyboards, you can do comics, right? If you know how to do comics really well, you still have to know the film language, a little bit more of the film language to go into storyboarding. But most of the time, there's good crossover between all of that. So hopefully that makes sense. Now I just want to say that we are hitting the 8 o'clock mark. If you guys have to run, I understand that. I'm going to go a little bit long because I knew this talk would be really important. And I do want to get to a lot of the questions here because we only have a little bit of time. So if you guys can hang out, let's go for another 10 minutes and we'll see if we can answer some of these questions. So thank you for that. Yes. So the answer is yes. Make sure you're working on your comics as well as storytelling. This is great question here from Paul. Sergio, any tips on how to wow an art director, recruiter, or producer to give your portfolio that extra edge to stand out? Well, I don't know about the wow factor. I wouldn't necessarily like bang, wow, have a, I just want you to have really solid presentation. You don't know how rare it is to have a nice, clean, easy to navigate web page, a nice, clean, easy to navigate PDF portfolio, and just a nice presentation where everything is clear, and let your drawings speak for themselves. Okay. Let your storytelling speak for themselves. Cause I don't want to be wowed by like, graphic design on your portfolio page and, fancy lettering and type. Forget that stuff. I want to see your drawing skills. I want to see what your storytelling is like. I want to see, your decisions as a storyteller and your staging, all of those like fundamentals that we talk about over and over again. I want to see that in your portfolio. That is what's going to really wow an art director, that they look at a shot and they say, wow, this guy can draw something from any angle. That's what we want to see. That's what I would love to see as an art director. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me go to Loka 2000. Good to see you again, my friend. Thanks for being active in the chat here. Question from you. I feel like LinkedIn is for regular jobs. Behance is for graphic design, production design stuff, and ArtStation is for illustration and concept art. What's the best platform from story artists? Are you giving me this like softball again? Let me show you. Let me show you, my friend. Here it is. Here it is. Right here, storyboard art. That's what it is. I'm telling you, like this is the platform that you want to be on. Okay, so are we the best? Hey, I'm going to claim it. I'm going to say we are the best. But okay, we're just one of them. I would say one way to get noticed and to get known is by posting as much as possible on storyboard related platforms. We're not the only one. I just I just wanted to put my shameless plug in here. Okay, so. You can there's Facebook groups that you can post in. There are LinkedIn groups that you can also post in. There's Discord channels that you can do it. And certainly the networking that happens in our courses, I will say with all confidence, I don't know any other place you could have such a focused network of just like-minded story artists, because that's all we do. We do visual storytelling, we do story work. So you're going to find that with the stuff that we do. Okay. You gave me that as a softball. Thanks, my friend. All right. Is there a hard question? I'm sure all these questions are hard. Maybe I'm skirting the question here. Great. Okay. So Ozzy the Goblin, I'm a fine arts student, but I want to be storyboard artist. Should I apply new animation college, or maybe I should maintain my fine arts course during my own storyboard studies? I've been answering questions from people this whole time in the Drawing Portfolio Challenge. That's a common question. People tell me, I'm doing illustration, but I really want to do storyboards. Or they say, I'm a 3D animator, but I really want to get into storyboards. And so now you're telling me you're a fine art student, but you want to do storyboards. So my question for you, why are you not going directly and doing storyboards now? Why are we waiting for fine arts? Do you want to do fine arts more, or do you want to do storyboards and storytelling more? You're going to have to choose, because the amount of attention and focus that you need in any one of these disciplines is just total and 100% focus. You can be an amazing fine artist. I'm sure you're probably pretty good already. But to be a story artist, you have to apply yourself just the same. And so I'm not a fan of dividing your brain power here. So some people say, I want to be a concept artist, I want to be a character designer, and I want to do storyboards. You're never going to be hired to do both at the same time. They're never going to say, oh, you do character designs and you do story? Oh man, we got 2 for the price of 1. No. That's not how it works. You're going to get hired for one or the other. And if you're a good character designer, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a good story artist. And if you're a good story artist, that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be a good character designer. You know what I mean? So I would say, if you really like story, don't do it as a side gig. Do it as your main focus. And you're going to have to choose. Everybody's going to have to choose out there. And I hope you make the right decision. It's like Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade, right? You chose wisely. So anyway, good luck on that. Let us know how it works out for you. So what's the ideal format for a portfolio website? This is great question here, because there's all kinds of formats. There is no one perfect format or ideal format. I would recommend anything that is clean, that is going to show off your storyboards really well, that has a nice slideshow feature that is really easy for somebody to look at and navigate, that you can post your YouTube or Vimeo videos in that website. So I know a lot of people that use Wix. That's a free website page, or low cost. You can also pay to get rid of the branding and stuff. Squarespace, which is also low cost. Some people do WordPress, a little more involved by doing WordPress. I think Squarespace is a little bit more user friendly. And there's a bunch of other ones. So I would not recommend paying a bunch of money for people to design your website. That's really, for there, just pay the money for Squarespace, and you're probably better off. It's not that hard to do it. The other thing you can do is ArtStation. ArtStation is perfectly fine. That's free. It's perfectly fine for storyboards. You can go on there, set up a profile, post your storyboards, and you do it there. I have my own website, and it's on WordPress, and I show out some storyboards there too. And in fact, it's always a pain for me to update that stuff. So that's something that we have to be on top of. All right, cool. Let's go to some more questions here. Pardon me as I look. Let me have a little sip of water. Michael, what's up, my friend? Good question here. How important are resumes showing work history compared to your portfolios of solid finished content? Will a weak resume work against you, even if you have a strong portfolio? No. If your work is good, I mean, if you worked at I don't know, I can't even think of a job that would disqualify you. If your work is really strong, if you worked at I don't know, as worked at a coffee shop for your whole career, but on your weekends and whatever, you became a really badass story artist, I'm not going to hold that against you. That means that actually, to me, means you're focused and dedicated, that you can do this. You had a job to maybe support yourself, but then all of a sudden, boom, you hit it with some really awesome storyboards. I personally, now that I'll just give you my opinion, this is my personal opinion, I hold your portfolio as the end all be all to the work that you show. Your resume, I'll look at it to see what you've done, and I'm curious as what your past job history is. But if you have a non-related work thing, but you're showing me really good storyboards, like for example, in some of the portfolios that I just looked at today, I don't know what their resume was, but I'm just looking at the work. And you could see that I got really excited by a lot of you guys, because I think, I'm seeing the potential. So that, the work to me is really the strongest thing. Now, you do want to have a professional resume, and I think that is that's important. You want to show it's nicely formatted, in typical resume stuff. In the United States, there's no picture, you don't have to put your age, that kind of thing. Make sure your contact information is clear. One thing I always recommend for resumes, make sure you have a position objective. So when you look at the resume, it's not just like this general thing that you put there. Put that the position that you're applying for in your resume. There's a tip there about that. So weak resume would be something that's poorly designed. A weak resume would be something that's incomplete, that doesn't show your the things that you have been working on. And I would also, for a tip here for you guys that are just beginning, and maybe you don't have a lot of experience, maybe you're just coming out of college, or some guys are even coming out of high school. There's getting a lot of young people that are coming into this. They don't have work experience. That's okay. You don't have to start padding your resume with non-relevant stuff. But even the education part, like if you've never gone to school, you've never gone to college, that's okay. You can put that in there. You could either just omit the education part, or you can do something slick, like another shameless plug. You can put that you've watched, you participate in the storyboard art platform, and you've gone through some of our courses, like the Drawing Portfolio Challenge, which is a legit course, man. We would normally charge people for this stuff, but we're giving this information for free. And, that's education right there. So, that's a little, if you have no other schooling, well, might as well just use us, put that in there to show that you've actually researched a professional group, okay, that you're being a pro about this stuff. Anyway, thanks for that question, Michael, and glad to see you on here. All right. Cool. Well, let me go through just a couple more questions here, and I think we're gonna have to call it. And I will remind you guys about what's coming up next, and what we're doing in a second. Yeah, this is great. So follow-up question here. What would you recommend putting in your resume if you have a good portfolio but no art jobs yet? So I think I kind of answered that, but let me get a little more specific. Should you put your non-art related jobs? Yeah, let's be honest about your non-art related jobs. So let's say you worked at a coffee shop. I'm just using that example. For many years, you never worked professionally as an artist or a filmmaker. What I would do is just show people that you have been busy working, doing something. But another thing that I would ask you guys, and I tell a lot of people, I was telling a buddy of mine when he showed me his resume the other day, I reminded him of a bunch of things that he left out, because he worked on a bunch of independent projects. He worked on, they weren't paid, but he was working on professional level pitches for projects that could have, gotten greenlit if the time was right or whatever happened. And those are things that you can put in your resume, that you worked on a short film. Have you helped out friends on their projects? Those are things that you can put, and make sure it's relevant. So don't just say you're, helping people on a lemonade stand. That doesn't make any sense. But if you help people on a short film, if you created some illustration work on the side, if you did commissions or portraits that would be some kind of storytelling or relevant material, that's things that you want to put in there. But there's no reason to pad out your resume if you don't have any legitimate experience. What I would list instead of that are your skills that are relevant to storytelling. Okay, that could be your digital skills. So do you know Photoshop? Do you know Toon Boom? Do you know the different operating systems? Do you have some 3D experience? Maybe you do sculpture and modeling. All those things, you might want to put that in there as just some relevant supplemental material there. Okay, my friends, I think that will do it for today. I do want to remind you guys of what's coming up next. Let me bring up my schedule just so I'm not getting this wrong. So tomorrow we have an action-packed day for sure for Lightbox Day 2, Saturday, September 12th. In the morning, well, at least morning my time, 11 a.m. Pacific time, we're going to have another roundtable discussion. This one is not to be missed. It really is the opportunity for you guys to hear these things from other professionals. So the title of that talk is Storytelling Biz Direct from the Pros. So Lee Tang will be there from Pixar. Vaughn Ross, who's a director at Warner Brothers, is going to be there. Sterling Sheehy, who's a story artist and also awesome story guy at Lucasfilm. And Calvin Sang, who I work with at Lucasfilm as well. And he's at Blue Sky Studios. Don Ta, who is at Blizzard right now. So these are all guys, just seasoned veterans. And I'll be hosting that roundtable discussion, and we'll be talking a lot about these things. And it's going to be an informal chat. But if you guys have any questions, that's what's going to give us, the inspiration to give you the information that you need. And we're going to talk about the trends right now. We're going to talk about everything that's happening with the studios and give some updates for each one of those guys. With that many people in a chat like that, it's really valuable, and hopefully you guys won't miss that as well. So that's 11 a.m. Pacific time. In the afternoon, we're doing another live stream, and I'm going to be talking more about technical tools that you need to break into visual storytelling. So that's like the equipment you need, the software you need, all of those things are going to be covered there. And in the evening, we're going to have a Q&A session. That's going to be really fun. I'm also going to invite one of our storyboard art members to to co-host that with me, and we're going to have a lively discussion there. So that's happening on Saturday, and you can see all of this on the webpage that we have on screen for you at the storyboard art at pro.storyboardart.org/LBX2020. My friends, thank you for joining me today. I look forward to an exciting event for the rest of the weekend. And just as we leave, I want to put up a couple of links for you guys, just so you have it. This is the Drawing and Portfolio Challenge that I mentioned earlier. There's still a chance to sign up, and you're going to get a lot of the information I talked about today. That's all in there in that course. And you can watch that for this week and next week, and we're going to go through those materials. So be sure to sign up. That's all for free. If you guys really want to step it up, I recommend you check out the mentorship. So check out this link, bit.ly, and the Story Artist Mentorship, where we'll be talking a little bit about this on Sunday and a little bit more on Saturday. But myself and guest co-instructor Nick Sung are going to be mentoring a really select group of story artists. If you want to be part of that, check out that registration page. All right, my friends, thank you for joining me today, and I really wish you the best. Keep up the good work, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow for Lightbox Expo. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.